on, Ramley? Ryan Dyer here. Before we get to the show, got to tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper, #1 sports app right now, and not just for season-long fantasy. They've got live score updates. They've got a chat you can communicate with other users. Plus, the best part is the daily fantasy feature, which is just like a live pick'em. Just choose 2 to 8 players across any sport. Choose more or less, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit right now, use our promo code. You see it right down there, Rams LAFB, all one word. They're going to give you a match bonus up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free on top of that to play with. If you only want to deposit 10, they'll match you that 10. You're starting at 20. But wait, right now, any new users automatically get a $20 free entry to play with. No deposit required. However, you can stack that bonus. Take that 20, go deposit whatever you choose up to 100 with that promo code RAMSLAFB, and they'll match you that. So now you've got extra free money to go play with. So check it out today. Download the Sleeper app. Tell them the guys over at the Rams LAFB sent you. Now, let's get on to the show. Yo, what's going on, Ramley? Welcome to the Rams Skinny here on the LAFB Network. I'm Ryan Dyer, joined as always by the Skinny T, the main man, and the trade deadline just came and went. The Rams obviously made a trade last week, but stood pat today. No moves made outside of a long snapper acquisition or practice squad addition, which got everyone fired up, I know. But outside of that, no big moves. So a couple big moves around the league, which we'll touch on that do affect the Rams a bit. But Skinny, well, first and foremost, Skinny, how you doing today? How's the day going?
Oh yeah, I can't complain. I kind of wish sometimes I was a long snapper. Right. I often say I should have been a punter, but I actually don't think I have the size to be a long snapper. But that's a good job if you can get it. There's only, probably 60 of them in the whole country that get paid any money, but long snapper.
Yeah. Well, remember our buddy Joe De Leon, who used to be with Believe. Remember when we were with them all hanging out at the Super Bowl here in LA, and he was a long snapper in college, and we were hanging out I'll say hanging out, but we were loosely hanging out with Pat McAfee. I remember he actually snapped a ball to McAfee in the radio row.
Yeah.
Showing off his long snapping skills.
I did not remember the long snapping part, but I do remember McAfee very much. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool moment. McAfee's just like the coolest guy. He was like so awesome and seemed very down to earth. And yeah, our buddy who was I think he was a long snapper at like Delaware or something, some small East Coast school.
Wow.
And was like, "Hey Pat, can I snap one to you?" And just like rips one right in radio row, and McAfee in his tank top, just great catch. And yeah, it was a cool moment. So long snappers are people too. And now the Rams have a potential new one or a new addition there. So, but let's start with this. Do you wish the Rams would have made a move? I know we've done plenty of guys that targets and whatnot, but do you think that they should have made a move, whether it was for a Sauce Gardner, whether it was for a receiver? Are you kind of actually happy they just held on to their assets and stayed put?
I wish they would have made a move. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the depth chart in the secondary and how much they're relying on the guys that they currently have, I feel like we need one more. I feel like you need one more guy in the secondary just in case something happens to Quentin Lake or, perhaps this Darius Williams thing is a longer term thing. And I know Roger McCreary is going to be a part of the game plan at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, I just feel like it didn't need to be Sauce Gardner as much as, we talked about Sauce joining this team. Just another guy back there, because if you look at the snap counts, especially from the last game, where Roger McCreary didn't play, Darius Williams didn't play on defense, all those guys are playing every snap. So they're betting on health here, and that can go south pretty quick.
Yeah. Betting on health for a team that's had some up and down health issues. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm totally okay with them standing pat. Obviously, I think they're a true contending team. They've shown the last 2 weeks, granted against not a great team last week in the Saints, but they've shown obviously tremendous growth this season. And we'll get to see that put to the test again this week, but I'm okay with it. I would have loved to see them go after Sauce. I just think you see I mean, we predicted what he would go for. He went for 2 first-round picks and a receiver with the Colts there. And seeing what kind of capital the Rams have, knowing the history of Les Snead and the F them picks mantra, I would have loved seeing them give up those 2 firsts and had Sauce in this back end. And now it's like, I mean, who's beating this Rams team when you have that on the back end, plus their front 7, plus how the offense is really coming together now? So I would have loved to have seen them go get Sauce.
Yeah, I think, you think about a team like Indianapolis, that they're doing like a very Rams trade.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey was 25, when he got traded for 2 firsts. The parallels are there. And you think about the Colts setting themselves up for a transition on the defensive side at the very least, adding a young piece that they can build around for the next 4 or 5 seasons. Or with Latu, you've got Kenny Moore, who's aging. You got Grover Stewart, I think his name is, DeForest Buckner, also getting up there. So, they've got kind of like a nice succession plan for their defense. And then you think about what the Eagles have been up to before the trade deadline, adding Jalen Phillips, taking a flyer on Jair Alexander in the secondary.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Seattle trade as well, but these are contenders making moves to win now, but also in the Sauce case, they're building for the future as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a kind of a fun trade deadline. Like the NFL is typical, like busy, obviously free agency frenzy's nuts, but the trade deadline is more like, it was basically whatever the Rams did was like the news. And other than that, there was like very minute trades that happened. And this was the first time there was some big trades happening. And you mentioned them. There was some leading up to it, obviously, in the prior weeks. It was funny seeing Baltimore like deal their top pass rusher who hadn't played well for them, granted, in Oweh or however you say his name, and deal him, and then they go and trade for a pass rusher than I think yesterday. So kind of funny to see that swap there. But yeah, it was a pretty busy. The NFL is shifting more like kind of the NBA in terms of like big name trades and teams realizing like the Rams made the blueprint, right? On, hey, you only value your draft assets so much because they don't always pan out. Like go get a guy that can contribute right away. So my last question on this Sauce thing for you, because honestly, I think the Rams would have been okay with dealing 2 firsts and let's say Tutu Atwell or a receiver in there, which is what the trade was. I think they would have been okay with that. Do you think there were issues with his contract? We talked about his cap hits and how this year it's not much, next year it's not much, but it jumps to like 39 million or something like that in 27. Do you think that was a snag, or do you think it was more the Rams were just content with who they got and didn't even really make an effort?
It's always the question if, if a team was just sitting on their hands or just were unable to get a deal done, if they were on the phone, working things out, and the Rams, the way they have themselves positioned right now, they can trade 2 first-round draft picks and still have a first rounder in 2026. I mean, they have 2 in 2026. So, I mean,
yeah. Oh, you're saying trade a 26 and a 27. Yeah.
Right.
They still have their one next year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's that report from Diana Rossini that was, they were on the phones with the Bengals talking either about Trey Hendrickson, Logan, I want to say Logan Wilson, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
Their linebacker.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Don't doubt yourself.
Okay.
Don't doubt yourself.
And then Cam Taylor-Britt was also kind of in that same conversation. So, were they, we'll never know, really. Maybe some reports will come out, unlikely, considering how they keep those things pretty tight-lipped over there. So, yeah, I mean,
well, it's not to cut you off, but again, who knows how truthful leaks are? It's always like, okay, what are the leaks real or not? But the players that were getting leaked outside of Cam Taylor-Britt were like, why would the Rams even go after that? Like I get Trey Hendrickson is great, but you don't need pass rushers. Like the Rams have a bevy of young, cheap pass rushers. Why go get a guy he's still good, but he's aging, he's expensive. And then there was a lot of rumors around the receiver position. And it's like, why? Like, why would you go? We talked about it last episode, I think. Like, why would you go after a receiver? Like, it makes no sense. So all the leaked players, I was just like, I hope this is not real because it makes zero sense in terms of roster building for what the only need this team has was literally cornerback or offensive line depth. Like, that was it.
Yeah. Well, so going back to the Seattle trade, I like that one a lot for them. And I didn't go into this day thinking, oh, the Seattle Seahawks need to add a pass catcher. They're just adding strength to strength, though. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba leads the league in explosive pass completions and targets. Seattle leads the league in explosive pass rate, and then they just added a guy who just had 2 explosive pass catches against the Rams and has 9 total this season. You know, I like that when the Rams did it with Allen Robinson, adding him in free agency. Or was that a trade as well? I'm doubting myself a lot.
A-Rob was free agency. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So adding strength to strength, it makes it scary. So, I wouldn't have gone after Trey Hendrickson necessarily, but adding another pass rusher to this group. I mean, if it was Jalen Phillips for a third, I mean, he hasn't been super productive, but is he going to do a lot better with the Eagles? Yeah. And I just keep coming back to this idea of these Super Bowl contenders adding pieces to their team, and maybe it is an Allen Robinson type thing where it's just like some of these things are just not going to work out. Chase Young on the 49ers as well. That was kind of a, they tried, but then you got Von Miller and Odell Beckham, so
yeah,
there's always factors to consider, but I mean, I don't like that other teams did it and the Rams didn't, I guess.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because it's so un-Rams like, and we'll see if they regret not making a move for a cornerback because the Rams have to play that Seahawks team twice still. And we saw, Washington is a floundering team for whatever reason. They were the Cinderella story last year, and obviously, gruesome injury for Daniels, but their defense has regressed mightily, which is interesting. But still, like, Dan Quinn led defense. It's a decent defense, and Sam Darnold and the Seahawks just absolutely picked them apart. But Sam Darnold had 4 touchdowns in the first half or something like that, or 3 touchdowns and no incompletions. So first of all, my whole standing on my soapbox about Sam Darnold is looking pretty good. I mean, the guy has in a good quarterback, just needed a good situation. Now back-to-back years. So yeah, the Rams, I mean, they'll see if they get picked apart by a team like that, because remember, they haven't played a really dominant passing team, like outside of Colts, which they won, but they haven't really played anyone else in terms of elite passing offenses, and now they'll have to go up against a few.
Apart from 2 AD Mitchell brain farts in that game, the Rams would lose that game, and now he's off that team. I don't know if that's connected or not, but he dropped a touchdown, a easy touchdown, and then a big offensive holding call on Jonathan Taylor run. So, yeah.
I mean, you literally.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but you played the Texans when they were just playing opening game, and they were missing there's number 1 receiver, I think, Christian Kirk, or 1 or 2 depending where you rank him. So bad passing offense there, first game of the season. Titans, obviously we know they're terrible. Eagles, you could say that they did good in that game overall, but obviously they lost it due to the passing game down the stretch. Colts, you just mentioned. The Niners, they lost to, and the Niners, they made Kendrick Bourne look like Jerry Rice. They played a non-Lamar Jackson Ravens team, and then the Jags in London, and obviously a terrible Saints team. So I'm not sitting here saying like the Rams are doomed, but they haven't like had to go up against the offenses that they're going to go up against in this stretch. So basically, we will see if they were smart or if they should have made a move. Because when you get the Seahawks twice now, the Buccaneers, who, depending on health, have a really good passing offense. The Lions, obviously. And then, the Cardinals twice. I don't think they're, with the Jacoby Brissett-led Cardinals offense, we'll see what that even looks like. But they do play some more premier offenses. So, I'm just saying we will see if Les Snead and co were smart to stand pat, or if they should have maybe added another piece on that back end.
And they're going to see those teams in the playoffs as well. You add Green Bay into the mix. They're an explosive offense as well. They're going to see Eagles or the Seahawks or, or maybe the Colts in the Super Bowl. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Maybe, the Bills is an interesting one. They didn't make any moves. I was kind of thinking maybe they would have been a Tutu Atwell team.
Mm-hmm.
Tutu's hurt now.
Yeah.
Maybe that was strategic.
Yeah. Well, and no just to put maybe. I think for those that were wondering, like we both, I don't think thought the Rams should have traded for a receiver regardless of Tutu being hurt. But I think there were many out there like, oh, they should have gotten someone. You're missing your wide receiver 3. But I think that the indication is that Tutu should be back in 3 weeks. Like basically just need the 4-week IR designation and be back as soon as he's available, as soon as he can be activated. So I'm sure the Rams are thinking like, we're not going to look for a receiver when we know this guy's coming back in 3 weeks. So as long as we can weather the storm till then, which obviously they did glowingly a few days ago, granted not against a great defense, but so yeah, we'll see. Any other moves you wanted to touch on?
No, I think that was it. Was there? Yeah,
they've like I really only thought cornerback or offensive line depth. So there really wasn't any needs there in my opinion.
I will say, just to finish it up, as I was really surprised that the 49ers didn't really make anything happen on defense this time around.
Yeah.
They added Keon White, but they're so down on the defense. And then the Cowboys as well, pretending like they seem to be like a contender now, or making moves like they're a contender.
Yeah, 2 massive moves, and they're not good, and they just traded away their best player.
Yeah, they're good. They're good on offense, but yeah, silly team.
They're just such a bizarre, like, oh man. You look at teams like that and you're like, you wonder why you don't win. Like you just run so poorly.
They panned Stan Kroenke. He's got the aviators on. He's got a nice blue suit, open neck, no necktie. He's just looking so cool and chill, sipping on a Starbucks or something. And then Jerry Jones is like the crypt keeper, just making moves because it's his last year alive or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing but, good thoughts for Jerry Jones's health, but not looking great.
Yeah, I know. Interesting. So, Stan knows, just let my guys. I hired you for a reason. I'll pay the checks and you make us winners. So, yeah, there you have it. Rams stand pat. Obviously, they did make a move earlier with Roger McCreary, who we have not seen yet. We will see as the season goes on, we presume, and as he gets more in the involved in the system, and when Ahkello Witherspoon's back, that will become a better room with basically those 2 additions. And that's probably the last thing I'll say. Skinny, maybe was in their thought process is like, okay, we made an addition to McCreary, who we like. We know we get Witherspoon back in 4 or 5 more weeks from now. So we feel like we're getting 2 new players going into the stretch run. No sense adding a third. So it could have been, that kind of thought process. But I agree with you. It's right now, it's still a fairly thin room. So we'll see.
Yeah, the playoff seeding is going to become very important. I have a Twitter post about playoff chances, Super Bowl chances. Rams are number 1 in Super Bowl chances per the Athletics simulation model. Don't come after me if that doesn't happen. It's only a 13% chance, so the probability is still low. But
hey, number 1 though. Yeah. Number 1, we love that. So they've looked good the last couple of weeks. So big one this week. We will obviously get into that throughout the week. Niners, a chance for redemption for the Rams. It will be in San Francisco, Sunday game. So we'll be covering that all week long. But for Skinny T, I'm Ryan Dyberd. Thank you as always, Ramley, for hanging out. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already. Gets you notified of our Rams content. Plus, it helps us out a lot as we continue to grow and build this. Check out LAFBnetwork.com for all of our Rams coverage and all of our LA sports coverage. And you can join our community, become a member there, help support LAFB. And also check out the Rams message board there. We'll drop some more intel and continue our community building there where we can all communicate maybe off of social media. We can do it like on our own ecosystem, which is great. So thank you guys. As always, Ramley, we'll talk to you soon.